What's up, guys? I'm back with another video today. This one's going to be on Matthew chapter 5, verse 37. And it says, "But let your yes be yes and your no be no, for whatever is more than these is from the evil one." So I'm going to break down what this verse means, and I'm actually going to share how I'm going through this in my life, to be honest with you, and how I struggle with this and have failed at this as well, and how God is correcting me, to be honest with you. So the first part, but let your yes be yes and your no, no. Jesus is calling for simple, honest integrity. So say yes only when you truly mean yes. Say no when you mean no without guilt or manipulation. No exaggeration, no half truths, or no pressure tactics. So basically, just letting your yes be yes or your no be no, and be a true man or woman of your word. So, a follower of Christ shouldn't need extra promises, dramatic language, or emotional leverage to be believed. Your character should speak for itself. So, your integrity. So, the context, this is about oaths and honesty. So, OATHS, oaths. I know sometimes I can sound a little different with some of the words, so forgive me. In the surrounding verses, Jesus is correcting the religious culture of the time when people used oaths and loopholes to sound truthful while avoiding responsibility. So Jesus raises the standard, not just avoiding lies, but becoming truthful people. So in the next part, for whatever is more than these is from the evil one. This is a strong language on purpose. Over explaining, swearing, or embellishing often comes from fear, insecurity, desire to control outcomes. The enemy thrives in confusion and manipulation. God works through clarity and truth. This doesn't mean explanations are always sinful, but when words are used to cover dishonesty, they step outside of God's design. So, what this looks like in daily life, keep your word even when it's inconvenient. Don't say yes to please people. Don't say no out of bitterness or pride. Speak plainly and truthfully. A consistent life makes oaths unnecessary. So, the big takeaway, integrity is not loud. Truth doesn't need decoration. A Christ centered life speaks clearly. So, again, so that's what the verse means right there. And then I'm going to explain about like how this has been affecting my life. So, the church asked me to direct traffic for them at this barn that we're having a church service at on the 24th. And at first I said yes, and then I actually was having some transportation issues, and then I said no. So I switched up on my word right there, but God ended up figuring it out, and I was able to say yes again because I had some help from some people, and by the grace of God, that's going to happen on the 24th. But, deep in my heart, I wasn't feeling it on top of that, but I know that God is calling me to serve. So, again, even though it seems like it's inconvenient, a lot of times think God will call us to do things that may seem inconvenient to us, and sometimes they may be, but at the end of the day, when we're serving God, it's never an effort wasted. So I actually prayed about this with a brother in Christ the other day because I told him I was gonna be somewhere and then I ended up not going, to be honest with you. And so I prayed about this verse. And then the very next day, I went out to eat with another brother in Christ, and he brought this up organically when we were out to eat at lunch at this nice Mexican restaurant. Thank you, Mike. And with that being said, the verse came up again, and I prayed about that. And then get this. So today we're reading in the Bible. Me and a brother in Christ, we're doing a study in the Gospels for an hour or two a day, and we came across Matthew 5:37. And then just let me make sure I got that right, so I'm not misquoting that. Yep, Matthew 5:37. So, and we stopped the Bible study right there because my brother in Christ felt moved by the Spirit to stop right there, and I knew in my heart that I had to make a video and make a slideshow content about this as well. So, and then I also took on another commitment with a dog, and and then yesterday, he got into some things, and honestly, there was a big part of me that wanted to give up on the dog, but God never gives up on us at the end of the day as long as we're willing. And with that being said, I knew that I had to, not give up on the dog per se and stuff like that because, my dad ended up bringing this dog home and then it wasn't meshing too well, like up in their area where they're living at. So I ended up, taking on the dog, but it's just been getting into my material things left and right. And God's really, really revealing to me that a lot of my heart is in some of my material things, to be honest with you, which is not good. So with that being said, I had the situation with this dog, and then I had the situation at the church, and I understand that those can sound like very minor things, but at the end of the day, I wasn't letting my yes be yes and my no's be no's, and then telling my friend that I was going to be somewhere that I wasn't there. And this really started for me when I lived in Las Vegas. To be honest with you, I got way too comfortable out there, and I started, saying I'd be at places and do this and that, and then I would cancel and just do what I wanted to do, and then it became a habit. So with that being said, I've had to take a good look at my heart, and this verse has been coming up nonstop, to be honest with you guys. So I'll repeat the verse again, Matthew chapter 5, verse 37. But let your yes be yes, and your no, no, for whatever is more than these is from the evil one. So if we don't let our yes be yes or our no be no, at the end of the day, if we keep changing our mind, it's evil at the end of the day. And not calling you per se evil or me per se evil, but at the end of the day, we're not representing Christ to the best ability. So I just wanted to do a quick video on that. I hope this resonates with somebody, and thank you guys for your time. I hope you guys have a blessed night.